What's up, friends? This is Manni and welcome to a phase 2 of the Frontier Fighters event speedrun tutorial. Again, same as the phase 1, it builds on having multiple teammates in your squad and doing these missions parallel and sharing each other the quests. What I'm gonna do here in this video, I will show you first off my preferred method of doing these missions with the F7 Mark II Ghost. It's a Ghost A because I built it from the F7A, more about this later. And secondly, I'll show you the most easy like cheating or a life hack that you can have in this mission. Because if you fly a stealth ship, and there are many like the Saber, you can literally do these missions solo in a few seconds and not even have anybody shooting you. Because we're of course doing them solo, no problem, but you can do it without the enemy AI even noticing you, because you're using a stealth ship. So the way this works is you're playing only the siege versions for 71k. It's the only missions you're doing. 71k, you're flying into this gas cloud and hide. Then the first wave of enemies spawns, you still wait until the second wave, well, one more ship spawns. That's gonna be a Hurricane or a Cutlass. Either one of those two. And that's what you're gonna have to kill. And yeah, if you're using a stealth ship like I am here, I typically only appear on enemy radars and can be locked onto at 1.8, 1.9 kilometers, so I can just fly over, kill, and go home. You'll see this here. I can even do more than that. This is the life hack I'm going to show you in a second, okay? And then we're also going to look at the Stinger and the Shiv, because I play these both ships as well for these missions, okay? All right, let's go for it. I'm leaving the gas cloud. This is typically when the enemy AI will notice you and come towards you aggressively and very effectively. My friends often die in these missions because these enemy ships are very dangerous with the Hurricanes and Cutlass Black. They hit pretty well, but you see they are completely inactive. They do nothing there because I only can be locked onto it at 1.8, 1.9 kilometers or even less. Right, so I can just boost in, and you see how quickly this F7 Ghost dispatches off the Cutlass Black. And I'm only using Panthers and Rhinos and Badgers. 2 size 2, 2 size 3, 2 size 4. That's what I got. Boom, mission finished. And now I can switch to Quantum and fly away and jump. Okay, I don't have to remain here. By the way, you also notice different recording setup because I'm now no longer in my recording studio. I have just left Germany and I'm living for now in Dubai, and soon I will be moving to Thailand once everything is set up here. But that's a different topic. I can explain more about this in another time. So there goes the arrow. All right, you see what I'm doing here is I love the dogfighting. And so I just go into the battle with these guys. But you see, when they're actively fighting me, I take damage. My shields are dropping, and so on. And also the enemies are sometimes still jumping around and teleporting a little bit. Depends on the server quality, you know. But I just lost my shield, so I disengage slightly, take some distance, and come back with another run. Something else is still shooting me, and I have taken a few red spots on my F7, but it's okay. I can take that. And yeah, those weapons are what I'm using here. Badger, Panthers, and Rhinos. They're among the weakest weapons you can use in terms of damage output, but because of their high projectile speed of 1,800 meters per second, they actually score very reliable hits, therefore making up for their lack of damage on paper with their sheer accuracy and the fact that they really do this kind of damage, unlike most other weapons. And you just saw on screen there was a share. One of my friends just accepted another mission and shared it. And this is how we do it, because you're sharing. What you share is the earnings in money, but you don't share the experience for progression through the event. So you can just hammer through the event for every single one of you at the same speed, or basically the more you are, the faster it gets. Just make sure you spread yourselves in the systems, right? Crusader, ArcCorp, Area, and Microtech, ArcCorp, Crusader, and Hurston. Okay, so And even if you like, you can play with your friends. You see here, Blade and I were both doing this together and just duoing these enemies. It's a nice, more fun way to play the event than the last time, I think. By the way, it's relatively late here in this hotel, that's why I'm talking quieter. So just in case you're wondering where my energy is, I just can't use it right now. I would wake up everybody if I start my Manni energy now. The Manni engine. Alright, so Hurricane is getting dropped very quickly. Boom. Blade is using the NDBs. I have been using them in the past. I wasn't a big fan. I think you have to get really close with them to make them count. And then they do great damage, but you're not always this close. And it means you're not able to deal damage as early as I can with my high speed weapons. Alrighty, so next one, and then we're gonna I'm showing you the life hack, okay, where I'm literally hacking the game or the engine, the game's engine. I cheat by being undetectable, because here's the thing: with these stealth ships, you can actually fire at the enemy without them seeing you. You can get so close that they just sit there and you shoot them away, and they don't even respond to your presence. Just look how these panthers and rhinos and badgers laser away even an arrow. Crazy. I like these weapons. Even though they're not very powerful on paper, they do at least exactly what they say on paper, right? Whereas the other weapons that do twice the amount of damage probably miss half of the shots. And therefore, you know, ending up with the same amount of damage. But this one here hits even the small targets, the fast ones. This is my PvP setup. You saw this teleport of the Hurricane? She just completely teleported past me. And that's why she's still alive. Alright, here we go. Alright, so last target, and then we're checking out the stealth hack. Here, another mission is being shared. In this moment, I actually didn't take it fast enough. They had to share it again because I was in the combat. Come on. Get killed. Get wrecked. There we go. Okay, so stealth hack time, alright? My signatures are 2.8 thousand, then 4.5 thousand or something. Or was it the other way? 4528, something like this, and then 5,700 cross section on this F7 Ghost Mark II that I transferred into an A variant by scrapping my F7A and using the parts from there to put it on the F7 Mark II Ghost. And you see here I'm at 2.5 kilometers and I can just shoot from here. The enemy ship does not notice me. I don't have a lock-on on my radar, no lock-on, a radar lock-on, so no enemy has any is aware of me. And you know, I could just keep doing this now, or you could even use this strategy and just fire laser cannons at max range and do even more damage at this range, you know, more focused, more precise at this range. But yeah, this is a way to play this game, this event, without even having to fight. You just fly in carefully and then you stop at your range where you can hit. But that requires you to have a stealth ship, okay? And that means having stealth components, typically removing one of the two coolers in your ship when there's two, and then building stealth power plant, one of them, and then shields, quantum drive, all in stealth, and that's it. And of course you have to choose a ship that can actually go stealth. Not every ship can do it. Okay, a cutter can do it, for example, but she can't get super stealthy. I think 3 kilometers is the best you can do, so it's probably not going to work. And the Saber can do it, you know. There's a bunch of them. You see, we're running now the Stinger, and I have Omnisky on it, because these laser cannons, they slap pretty well, and still travel pretty fast. I think 1,400 meters per second is the travel speed of these Omnisky. And this paired with a pretty decent damage per hit and the ammo capacity that the Stinger brings, you know, normally you always run out of ammo. That's why we can't really use the Omnisky weapons. But if you use them on the Stinger, you have 17 shots, even with a full Omni setup. Plus, your size 5 laser cannon works relatively well with the same pip. Not exactly the same pip, but almost. So you can utilize that setup pretty well. And it's a pretty heavy slap one-hit kill or one flyby kill setup. If you get hit by those salvos, you're gonna be gone. Except, of course, when you're a larger ship. Alright? Accepting the contract in the middle of battle. Like I said, this is the speed running, guys. If you want to do this event in an hour or 1.5 hours for everyone, just meet up together and do this. Share the missions and occupy the different systems. Wow, the damage coming from these Omnis, guys, is so brutal on this on this ship. This might actually be one of my favorite setups on the Stinger, because it's these weapons are usually not utilized anywhere else, simply because of the ammo capacity typically being the bottleneck, and the Stinger takes care of that weakness. Of course, the problem is it's still too slow. It's still not really a good ship. It's not a very good ship, let's be honest. I've already said this in the dedicated review of the ship. It's not a PvP ship. It's purely PvE in my opinion. You see, I already got a red wing here. It doesn't really take a lot of damage even on the wings before they become red. But when these shots land, holy smokes, that is crazy. It reminds me a little bit of the Meteor, right? The Meteor is a super squishy ship. However, the Meteor at least is fast, just can't take any damage. Yeah, the Meteor hits hard as well. Actually, even harder. 6,000 DPS is what you can have in the Meteor. I think the Stinger, what was it, with my projectiles, only got to 5,800, I think. Or 5,600 DPS? I'm not sure. Something like this. Anyways, let's hop into the Shiv as the last ship that I'm going to show you. This is just for variety's sakes. Okay, and we're also running the Rhinos and Panthers. 4 size 3 Panthers, 2 size 4 Rhinos. And one thing you'll see very quickly is that the Shiv takes a lot more damage. It has only half the amount of shields compared to the Stinger. Stinger has 2 size 2s. This one here has only 1. But the mobility of the Shiv is absolutely outrageous. It is more mobile than any other heavy fighter in the game. In fact, it actually has a mobility that could almost rival medium fighters. And this with the firepower of a Hurricane, a manned Hurricane. That is really crazy. But then again, you're a very large target and you're easily hit. So in PvP, dogfighting, the ship can dish out a lot of damage, and it's mobile enough to keep you in the target unless you're flying an Arrow or Gladius. But you can also shoot it down very quickly. It just doesn't tank at all. It goes down very quickly. But the firepower is absolutely sick. You should not ever get like this Arrow here into the line of fire. And the Arrow can probably, when well flown, prevent this sort of thing. But this is my PvP build with the fast weapons. So if I were to encounter players with this, most of them are gonna have a hard time. Because I'm just gonna hit them. That's the problem for them, you know. Even if I die relatively fast also, at least I'm gonna make sure I hit. But yeah, also a bit of a squishy one. It's a good daily driver for PvE, and it can defend itself well in PvP too. But I wouldn't call it a dogfighting ship necessarily. For that, it's just too fragile. Anyways, let's hop into the last mission and hide in the cloud. By the way, this is also the only ship having a green light. You see this? Light is green, whereas the Vandul ships or the Asperia ships have red lights. Interesting, the Banu doesn't have a blue light. Should have one. The Banu needs a blue light. Let's start a petition. Alright, let's go for it. I'm launching missiles. I got 24 size 2 Dominators. And here I'm taking the missiles. I'm flaring, but I think I still get hit later, or not. Okay, in any case, you see the damage output is heavy coming from these weapons. The Hurricane got killed super quick. I don't know, it didn't even do much. But now, you see it's gonna go get different... Oh, teleporting enemies. I'm actually gonna take a lot of damage in this fight, I think. And then I'm showing you the end of the event and how it looks like when we're getting the prizes. So I'm already losing my shields. Something is shooting me. But of course, everything I focus goes down super fast with these weapons, you know, with the firepower coming from this ship. It's much more firepower even than I had in the F7 before. Accepting the mission while torque screwing, okay. Multitasking here. But you see, I'm taking damage now. Yeah, I'm also dishing out a lot of damage, but I'm taking damage too. And I'm fighting a Cutlass Black here that can also dish out the same amount of damage almost when it is dual manned, which it just was. Yeah, so this is all the damage I'm going to take because the mission is over. Alright, you guys, you can track your progress with the in the journal on the Frontier Fighters hunt, right? I show you this in a second. There you can see how far you have gone. Here, Frontier Fighters. And this was me almost being completed after just a little bit more than an hour of playing. 1.5 maybe. And here it comes the last one. You see on screen the green text saying we've got the rewards. Alright, so yeah, that's the speedrun, guys. Use your friends, share the missions with each other, occupy different spaces, and take the 71k siege missions. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. Manni out.